Holy crap, I just noticed this. Look at this. This was my Hot Wheels air freshener, and it melted. What's up, YouTube? Good morning, welcome to the smallest automotive channel on YouTube. And behind me is my 1992 Acura NSX. I just got this car. This is my first JDM car that I've ever owned. I went from the Pantera, which was an awesome Italian slash American-ish exotic, into this car, and I'm absolutely loving this thing. Let's go check it out. Starting up front, you can see there's not a lot of room for anything else other than what was designed for this car. Here's a spare tire, and way down behind it is where the battery is tucked in. Definitely one of the things I like most about this car, other than the styling and the power and handling and all that, is the trunk space. There is plenty of room in the back of this car. You could fit a set of golf bags. I don't really play golf, but I could drive the crap out of a golf cart for sure. But if you want to take a weekend trip in this car, you absolutely can. You've got plenty of room for a couple bags and knickknacks, maybe a small cooler, whatever. It's very roomy, and that was definitely something that was on my checklist for the next car that I wanted to get into. The heart of the beast. Check it out. Dual overhead cam 3.0 V6. So this car already had the aftermarket cold air intake put on it when I got the car, but I have the stock air box. I could replace it and go back to stock if I wanted to, but no need. Let's talk interior. This thing is super comfy when you're driving it a long distance. I drove this car home from Kansas City. I flew up in the morning, we did some paperwork over at the bank, and then I picked up some extra parts that he had, threw them in the trunk, and blasted back to DFW. That was about an 8.5, 9-hour road trip, and this is one of the most comfortable cars that I've spent that much time in. I wasn't really sure going into it if it was gonna be a good car for long distances like that, but it's been phenomenal. Everything you need is in this car. Every creature comfort. The air was blowing cold. You know, the radio, it's iffy, it's been swapped out, so I need to attend to that. In fact, that'll probably be one of my first projects, is trying to get the speakers in the doors. I think they've been removed for whatever reason, but I'll put those back in and see if I can't get through some of the wiring. I've got this god-awful amp sitting behind the passenger seat that needs to be either hooked back up or just removed altogether. We'll see what it does. This car has 119,650, almost 55 miles on it. So 544 of those miles were from me driving it home from Kansas City, and then the next couple days I just spent driving around town, getting it inspected. I really only had two things I was looking for in an NSX. I wanted a 5-speed, obviously, and I wanted pop-up headlights. I love 80s, 90s cars. The pop-up headlights are iconic. I had to have them with this car. Now, I do suffer from the dreaded broken door handle. Check it out. This thing is, I have it removed right now because I ordered the brand new ones from Science of Speed. They should be here sometime tomorrow, and I'll get those installed. They're billet aluminum. The piece on the bottom is notorious for cracking where the cable comes in and hooks into it. So the previous owner was dropping this off at the dealership to have the PPI done, and the handle broke on him, so he had to put the window down and reach out. It's not a big deal. It happens. It's pretty common on these cars, but thankfully there are aftermarket companies that make replacement parts, better parts that will last forever when these original parts fail. I also have an appointment to get the windows tinted because there is no tint at all on these windows, and being outside here in Texas, this thing gets hot inside. So I've opted to go with the tint with the ceramic coating on it, which will keep the interior of this car much cooler than your standard window tint. I had a laundry list before I bought the car of all these things that I thought that I needed or wanted. That list has slowly been chopped away at, and I really only have a few items. I'm not a huge fan of the wheels that are on this car. I just think that they kind of get lost being black. So I went ahead and ordered some silver wheels, and instead of running 18s and 19s, I'm going with 17s and 18s. These wheels are great. They're forged wheels. They're actually good wheels. Just not my preference for this particular car. Actually, these wheels, from what I found out, are mostly used on Porsches, so maybe I can sell them to somebody with a 911 or something like that. Interior, the only thing I really need to get done is a good clean. There's some stains on the ivory carpet and stuff. This car is a red on ivory car, which is one of 49 for the year. The seats were ivory, and those seats were removed because they were kind of worn. The previous owner kept those seats. He installed these black seats, which I was fine with. I don't need white seats because I want to drive this car, and white seats are just going to get filthy. It's going to be a lot of maintenance to keep clean. I don't want to mess with it. So I opted to keep the black seats in the car. Totally fine with that. It actually doesn't look bad with that two-tone-ish, just a little bit of white here and there inside, and the rest of it black anyway. I would like to lower this car. I think putting some coilovers on it and just getting it down just ever so slightly is really going to improve the look of this car and the handling. You know, this car is going to be used on back roads. I want to go down to Twisted Sister down there in Central Texas, and maybe Tail of the Dragon. I would love to take that drive, especially in this car. So far, this car is handled so well. It has manual steering, so the Ferrari 308 and the Pantera both have manual steering as well. But the steering in this car it's not too heavy. It's just light enough that I can use one hand to turn the car if I need to. But at speed, you don't even really notice it. It feels like it has power steering. So when Honda designed this car, they really got this thing right. I ordered the oil sending unit kit from Science of Speed because another common issue with these cars is the oil gauge on the cluster doesn't read correct all the time, and they've designed a kit that will actually move it up to the back of the firewall, and you'll get a more accurate reading. So they give you a new sending unit and all the doodads that go with it. I want to know the correct oil pressure. You know, I know it's good in this car, but I want to know that it's accurate every time I look at the gauge. If you guys like these cars, if you're into the JDM stuff, follow along. I'm going to try and post quite a bit, especially with this car, using it, working on it. This is my first dive into the JDM market, and I'm really excited to get going on this thing and learn more about it. Well, that's the NSX. This is my starting point, and we'll see where it goes from here. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing and follow along with this project. And don't forget, I've got the Model A, I've got the Ferrari, and the LTD wagon still going on as well. And I'll be moving on those, so check back. Thanks so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish.